Yeah, that's the snoring. I blinked numerous times when I realized I was conscious. I was alive. I was then even more awake, realizing I hadn't doubted I would be alive in the slightest yesterday. I was wondering if Julie's ears would change, and they in fact did. They, not gonna lie, I wish they didn't. They look a bit weird, but I can get used to it. It's the same thing with the horns. She doesn't have horns anymore, but I can get used to it. I looked away from the ceiling and saw my wife sleeping peacefully next to me. This is pretty nice. Just like this. It was a tremendous sense of happiness, having my wife close when I slept and when I awoke. Yeah, you can have this more frequently now that she won't drain your spirit energy constantly while you're sleeping. I wanted to lie in bed with it like this, awake but at peace, with her for a long time, for as long as possible. Huh? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to wake you. Yeah, she got a bit busy and she got a bit busy at night. Hang on a minute. The only dreamy pillows are the ones on your chest. I mean... Oh, no. I definitely wasn't surprised that I was alive still. I ran my finger along her ear. Your ears. And they're different. She touched her ears herself and investigated the shape. I knew it. So it was a success? Good. My mouth twisted into a broad smile. Julie's face lit up as well. So I pulled her face close to mine. Now we could make love all we want. Damn. I mean, you know, I made the joke that Julie would wake you up with a blowjob or being on top of him, but like, I didn't know they were going to immediately transition into a H scene. Julie blushed and looked away. Her reaction was as cute as ever, and I moved to kiss her deeply. Ah, shit. Saved by the bell? I guess ruined by the bell. Blue balls by the bell. Oh, right. Yeah, and he doesn't have an excuse to skip school because he's not drained. It was time to get ready. Julie had an inviting yet shy tone. She sounded torn. I had just woken up and had the usual morning wood, so truthfully, I wanted to have at her. But if we did that now, we'd be so late, it wouldn't even matter. I'm sure Oishi can understand. We can say it's... You can use it as an excuse for his... You can just say that it's because... It's punishment. Julie's late in protest of having to sleep in the same bed that Adrienne and Oishi ruined last night. You know what? That's I had been taking days off school because of my condition anyway. But my feelings aside, I kind of wanted Julie to get back in the school rhythm. I wonder, we don't have any time. I tried to sound inviting, but I was confused, and it sounded ambiguous. Oh god, shut up, shut up, shut up. She didn't even give me a chance to react before diving under the covers. They actually did transition into a H scene. Oh.
Ah, やっと来た。おはよう。
They didn't transition into a H scene, but they just implied that she sucked him off. Interesting. Interesting. Why? It's not like they didn't, or they haven't done morning blowjobs before. You know, Lulana, he did it. They haven't done it since, but still, you know.
Ohayo.
She still has the. Oh my god! It's. I'm gonna have to get used to a new sprite.
どうしたの？今朝は随分と元気いっぱいなのね。
It's weird not seeing her ears sticking out of her hair. Especially compared to Lucy, whose ears are sticking out of her hair.
ユータの方は元気ない顔だけど。
You know, even though Lucy has human ears. It wasn't because I lost spirit energy or anything. I was a little groggy after the multiple climaxes this morning. It would have been great to see. Well, the other people who play this game. For me, not so much. I don't really care that much about the H scenes because it's not YouTube content.
じゃあ行きましょう。ちょっと急がないと遅刻してしまうわよ。
Sorry. When we started walking, Luna looked at Julie intently. Something the matter?
謎な感じです。
I'm surprised. Well, no, I'm not surprised Luna figured it out. I'm not surprised Luna sees something off, but but more so Lucy didn't. But more like Lucy didn't.
あれ？ゆりちゃんの耳。
Yeah, where are they? Everyone else has ears. You can see Yuna's ears. You can see Luna's ears. You can see Yorihime's ears.
あら。どうしたのそれ。ドルエモンみたいにネズミにかじられちゃったの？
You can very obviously see Karen's ears.
そんなはずないでしょ。それでどうしたの一体？みんな聞いて。私ムマではなくなったんだ。
We were running late, so Julie explained as we walked.
随分と思い切ったことをしたのね。本当です。
They all seemed happy for her, but also undeniably surprised. Yeah, I would be too.
耳をなくしちゃうなんて私には怖くてできないや。
No, she still has her ears just under her hair. You know, unlike literally every other character.
亡くなったわけではないから。ユリはおとなしい方だから、それで意外ではあったけど。
Let's just say she's a bit freaky in the bed, you know?
でも実はそれだけの情熱があったということなのでしょうね。
Yeah, you can say that again. I nodded.
やけに実感がこもっているです。
Here's the thing, right? With other characters, there is a NPC specific a route specific NPC character, right? That they make a sprite for. It was only for Karen, because Luna didn't have any. Yorihime should have, but for some reason they didn't. They didn't, even though there were a lot more new characters in her fucking route that they didn't, or whatever. In Julie's route though, it was Oishi, but in Julie's route, they didn't just make a new character. They changed her sprite. They redesigned her sprite and got rid of the ears. Well, I thought they were going to get rid of the horns too, but apparently not. I laughed awkwardly and everyone looked at me with a mixture of annoyance and mirth.
今の笑い方、なんか大石先生にそっくりだったね。
Hang on a minute. You can't compare him to Oishi anymore. His balls won't get drained as much. No, his balls will still get drained, just not his life spirit, his spirit energy. I needed to be careful not to end up like him. You won't. It feels like it's been ages. Coming to school with this much energy, that is. It seemed like every day I had been waking up with what seemed like sandbags on me. My body felt light and I wanted to skip through the gate. Even Megumi has ears. Morning.
おはようございます。あれ?
Shibuya noticed the ears immediately. Maybe it was really obvious. Yeah, but that's why I was confused why Lucy didn't notice. Julie's ears had been different before, but no one had been brash enough to ask about them at school. But if they changed overnight, surprise was inevitable. Hang on, you can't say they changed overnight. Yes, last night was Sunday. Something could have happened.
実は前からちょっと気になっていたので、整形などをしてみたんです。
That is the worst excuse you could have come up with. Saying nothing would have been better. そうなんだ。Yeah, I just cut off my ears. Maybe her surprise produced that odd voice. Julie didn't try to hide her laugh from Shibuyan's weird reaction. Julie stuck with the same story in class, and it seemed like everyone accepted it at face value. I thought she was going to say I was just joking, but apparently not. Julie was always cheery, so everyone believed her without a second thought.
おはようございます。席についてくださいね。
And I mean, obviously, what she's his ears because he has short hair. Oh, she winked at me from his podium, or at least I thought so. He had glasses on, so he doesn't have sunglasses on. What are you talking about? Just because he has this kind of sprite doesn't mean you can't see his eyes in game.
では、ホームルームは以上です。ああ、牛尾くん、ちょっといいですか?
To be less gay about it this time though. Oh, sure. Did you do something to get yourself in trouble? Give me a break.
いやー、よかったね、ゆうたくん。
Yeah, thanks. But can you please not squeeze my hand?
つい気持ちがこもってしまったよ。
He was weird as always.
ゆりちゃんだけど、今後はこっちが根拠地になる。まあ、あっちには行けなくなったわけだし。
Yeah, so why do I feel like there's more to this route than meets the eye? I thought her transforming into a human would be like the climax of this route, but then it just kind of happened. Like, what is gonna happen? Like, what's gonna happen?
今まであまり父親らしいこともできなかったけど、これからはちょっとでもその分を取り返せたらと思っているんだ。だから、ゆうたくんも協力を頼むよ。
Sure. were holding hands with Sensei. Don't be a PB Tom. Don't be a PB Tom. So, you do bad for the other side after all. Don't ask so seriously, man. 6:14. A number of days after that. Nom 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 nom.
なんかウシ、最近本当に大食いになったね。
Yeah, I guess. I wasn't losing my spirit energy anymore, but I was still hungry all the time. It was probably thanks to the nighttime workouts. So it was a similar issue. Yeah, now that Julie doesn't have to worry about draining you of your spirit energy, she can fuck you as much as she wants.
太るよー。
She's still as horny as a succubus, you know? A succubi. Will I?
それは知らないけどさ。でも、たくさん食べてくれると、作る方としても作りがいがあって嬉しいです。ほう、そういうもんか。うん、私たちも早くご飯作ってあげるような彼氏見つけないとね。
Don't worry, Luna. Yuna will get her turn in the spotlight next route. Literally next route.
そうだね。けど、
I'm the spotlight.
今週に入ってからゆりちゃん明るくなったね。前が暗かったってわけじゃないけどさ。
Well, yeah, because she gets to fuck Yuta without the drawbacks of succubus draining powers.
そうですね。自分でもそう思います。ムッシーと付き合うようになったのはもう結構前のことだし。なんで？
And also before she had repressed horniness that she didn't know she had. I'm just speculating.
やっぱりこれのせいでしょうか。
Julie touched her ear with one of her hands.
ほう、そんなに変わるもん？心境というか。
Julie didn't answer directly. She just laughed.
そういうもんか。
No,
じゃあ、
don't.
私もプチ整形でもしよっかな。どこ？
Don't say it.
どこって。
Fucking Christ.
おっぱい。
God damn it. That's not exactly little.
ゆうたさん、今日買い物に付き合ってもらってもいいでしょうか。
Oh, sure.
料理部の部活動が終わってからになりますが。
Should I just wait? Julie thought for a second, then shook her head.
いえ、悪いですから。
Okay, got it. Maybe I'll meet you there then. I'll hang around the bookstore or something.
はい。
Once it was decided, Julie and Karen skipped out of class together. Both of them seemed delighted with the club at this point, for two different reasons. And maybe I should join a club too. But there weren't any that interested me. My motivation for stuff like that hadn't changed. You know, I was hoping that one of these routes would have Yuta joining a club, and Julie's route seemed the most viable considering she joins the cooking club, but I don't think that's going to be the case. You know, it's like Yuta getting a job in Yorihime's route, and it's definitely not. He's definitely not going to fucking join a club in Yuna's route because she isn't in a club either. She works at the Honeydew Cafe, and Lucy, I can't think of a reason why she would join a club either. But Julie really has changed a lot. Wait, did I read? There weren't any that interested me. My motivations for stuff like that hadn't changed. She would have wanted me to wait for her before, but now she was assured of our deep, infallible connection with one another. Yeah, she doesn't have the same insecurities. That served as our bulwark, and helped her be cheery and outgoing. At least that's what I thought. Hello?
ゆうたさんですか？着いたんですが。
Gotcha. I'll be there in a second. The other world races had the mysterious ability to sense where others would be even without calls or texts. But now that Julie was mostly human, that power was gone. She had quickly adapted to her phone though. Okay. See, here's the thing, right? When I complained that the hangout events were weird and I didn't like them because they were predicated on Yuta coincidentally meeting up with said girl, right? This is kind of an explanation as to how, right, my mod slash Dexter slash the guy who gifted me this game was like, oh, maybe it's because he can sense them, right? This kind of confirms it, but what Yuta just said also debunks it. Because this ability is exclusive to the other girls. Yuna, Julie, and Yuta, who are human, don't have this ability. So that it's still a coincidence. Here I am.
こうして待ち合わせしてお出かけするのもいいですね。
It's fun, huh? So, what are you shopping for? What are you shopping for today?
お洋服です。
Clothes?
とうとう気兼ねなく厚着できるようになったわけですからね。いろいろと買いたいところです。
Oh. I got it. She has got more outgoing, but her shyness was still intact. Yeah, now she doesn't have to worry about her succubus powers. How do I say this? Because the reason why they wear skimpy clothes is because if they don't, if they wear like more modest clothing, it's like their succubus powers won't be able to seep out of their pores or whatever, right? It's like they're trapping them in the clothes. So now that Julie doesn't have to worry about that, she can wear as baggy of clothes as she wants. I think she looks great with this outfit though. The thing is, we don't get to see her miniskirt or skirt in general. It's still long. It's not that mini. What's she thinking of buying? I didn't want to spoil her fun as she headed to the boutique, but I had to ask anyway. What kind of clothes are you gonna buy?
パンタロンにしようかと思います。
Khakis. That could look cute in her. On her.
あんたねえ、何言ってんのよ。
Hey, look, there's her ear. It only took for her mum to show up. Where did you come from?
そんなことはどうでもいいの。ユリねえ、そんなん今時オーバーハンでも履かないんだよ。
I mean, true.
いいでしょ、パンタロン。ダメ。あんたは確かに無魔ではなくなった。が、その心意気まで失っちゃいけないよ。
True. Well, it depended on how she wears them. Khakis could be fashionable.
へえ、じゃあゆうたくんはそっちの方がいいわけ。
Don't put words in his mouth, okay? Well, no, that's not what I said.
でも心意気とかそういう問題じゃないと思うんだけどな。あと種族が違っても私はやっぱりあんたのママだよ。母親の言うことは聞くこと。まあゆりの好みとしてはどうしてもパンツの方がいいらしい。 ということで、今日は私がプレゼントしてあげるよ。
I swear to God, if there's a hole cut in the fucking middle of the pants.
本当に？実はもう買ってあるのさ。買ってあるの？
Julie was immediately skeptical. I doubted Adrienne had picked something in line with Julie's interests.
ああ、これさ。
Oh, they really are pants. I see. I think those would be perfect on you, Julie.
だろ？だよね。キュートなお尻のゆりにはこういうピチピチキッツキツのパンツがお似合いさ。やだよ、そんなの。ママの言うことが聞けないって？聞けません。せっかく買ったんだから履きなさいよ、こら。
What? When they say pants, I was expecting a lot longer. Those are shorts, my guy. They burst into a game of tag, and I couldn't help but break into laughter. Our relationship had changed significantly since that day. But there were some things that never changed. Somehow, that gave me a huge sense of relief. Is that really how they're going to end her route? With her getting chased by her mom. I mean, to be fair, out of all of them, it did end chronologically. It did end the fastest. It was the shortest route chronologically. Alright, Luna, Karen's, they both took at least a year. Luna took a few weeks. Well, you know, after they got, you know, went to the world, right? After they went to their world. But Julie, it was only a week in her world, right? And you know, all of that stuff happened in all of the things that were important to their relationship happened in the human world, so it's all fine. What did I think of the route? That is a good question. I liked it. I really liked it. It had an interesting conflict. So I can't really compare it to anything I've played, but in terms of whether I liked it over Yorihime's route, I definitely say I would definitely say I do. It's hard because here's the thing, right? It was hard to give Yorihime a ranking on the list because it very much is tied into the romance aspect of each character's route, right? Julie's had a lot of romance because her conflict revolved entirely around the romance, right? And how you can't really, a succubus can't really have a normal relationship with a guy without sleeping with a bunch of other guys in her dream. You know, in her dream, quote unquote, even though, like Adrienne said, succubi don't really see the difference. So, you know, she confirmed herself that she did in fact cheat on Oishi. But yeah, I easily preferred it over Karen's route. And I do prefer it over Luna's. But the question stands, where does Julie stand, pun intended, in the rankings? Because at the moment, she is... I'm definitely not stalling. She is 6th. I haven't changed her ranking since the start of her route, but definitely isn't 6th anymore. No? So where does she go? Where is her current standing? And honestly, it's a tough decision. Because I think the reason why I was debating, right, on whether I should put Julie first or second. She is very close to first. But the reason why I don't think I don't think she ekes it out. The reason why I don't think she reaches first is because the conflict in Julie's route is... Ooh, I don't know how to say this. It's hard to say that it was solved quickly, because it wasn't really solved quickly. It's more so the solution was too easy. It's like you know, there's with Karen's route, they had to solve the conflict by having a year off, right? But it's like you don't really feel the weight of it in her route, because you don't see the year that they spent apart. With Yorihime, the conflict was already done, right? It was all about the conflict in her route, right? It was very, very little to do with the romance. Yeah, Luna's route just had everything. Right? It felt the most complete. I guess I should say. Julie's very, very close. But yeah, in terms of route, it's very, very retrospective when it comes to Luna specifically. But I still think her route is the best. And then following that would be Julie's route, then Luna's, then Yorihime's, then Karen's. It is a shame that I start off with the best route and the worst route. But that's beside the point. If things just finished up there, it would have been a nice happy ending, but not exactly the happy ending I wanted. Okay, bro. Okay, little bro. I know exactly what you're getting at. I mean, it wouldn't have been a bad ending or anything, though. Julie's desk had gravitated toward mine. I could hear her breathing growing heavy. Julie looked down at her desk, her face and neck growing red, enduring an unseen pain.
ユリアさん。
はい。
体調でも悪いのかな。なんだったら保健室に行ってもいいよ。
はい。そう
Okay, I'll walk her over there.
そうだね。
Julie walked over to the door, her eyes wide on me. She looked flushed red all over, and clearly not feeling well to the untrained eye. But I knew better. My father-in-law spoke as we approached the door.
本当に体調が悪いようだったら、そのまま早退してしまっても構わないから。
And then he winked at me, I think. Once we escaped the students' prying eyes, Julie's breathing intensified. Are you okay? I put one arm under her to support her and looked into her eyes. Her face was a bit contorted, and I saw sweat beading on her forehead. Can you hold out until we get home? I asked in a whisper, and she shook her head. How about the station? I knew there were love hotels near the station. Not like I had used one before, but I figured it could help us. Which meant we needed somewhere private on campus. Some ideas came to mind, but I decided on one. I didn't have time to deliberate. Okay, Julie, this way. Step quietly. I pulled her hand and we crept as silently as we could onto the up to the roof. On the roof? Julie didn't need Julie didn't need my spirit energy, since she wasn't a succubus any longer. But she still wasn't fully human, and she differed from a normal girl in a major way. And that was... A wave of pure lust was overtaking her, and she was powerless against it. I did say that she would be hornier. She would be hornier because she was a succubus. If she even tried, she might faint from the tension. So it was similar to how she suppressed her powers. How she suppressed her power as a succubus. Julie. I grabbed her thin waist with my hands. I no longer lost my spirit energy through sex with her, so as long as we were hidden, I could fulfill any order. Julie devoured my tongue with an insatiable lust, as if it was the only thing she needed to stay alive. Julie, hang on. She was almost snorting in between sucks as she forced herself onto me. If we stood upright, there was a chance someone could see us from the field. I tried to steer us over into the greenhouse. Oh well, you gotta do it while kissing. With her body stuck to me like glue, I tried to crab walk into the greenhouse. But I underestimated her drive. What? Are you okay? Julie? Did she slam her head or something? I thought it was possible, that it was a possibility, but I didn't hear her head collide with anything. Bro. She then quickly moved her face toward my crotch. It was the only thing on Julie's mind at the moment. At this point, oh, she groped my already stiff-censored, and I let out a moan of surprise and pleasure. She hastily ripped off my belt as she mumbled. Since we were down on the ground, no one could see us, right? Maybe. The mood had already struck me like a tidal wave, and dwelling on the minutia was starting to bother me. Julie, point your ass toward me and straddle my face.
なことしてしまって。
Of course. Get over here. She replied joyously as she moved to mount me. My senses were overcome with a sweet scent when her legs were on either side of my face. The smell alone stirred my groin, but I could also make out her sweet spot and the outline of her panties. Where's the zipper on this thing?
はい、そこです。上も脱いでしまいますね。
Oh, okay. If she was gonna blow me, she didn't need to take anything off. But once her buttons were pushed, her passion and aggression was like a rolling heat wave. We had to sneak into the pool showers to rinse off. Of course you did. I wonder... how the fuck did they get off the roof, you know? It's not like Julie can fly anymore, she's a human now. We would be in deep trouble if we got seen, but no, that was part of the thrill. It's not like you're gonna do it again in the fucking showers. People would think it would be odd. It was odd if we showed up together after missing second period, so we decided to just leave campus entirely. Well, as long as no one saw you, that's for the best.
なんだかいけないことしてしまっているみたいですね。
No shit? Yeah, we did. I think it's fine on occasion, right? It'll be a good memory at least.
はい。ただ、授業も受けたいので、今後はもうちょっと我慢してみようと思います。
She's still got a succubus level of horniness, of libido. Yeah, maybe you can get the notes from Lucy afterwards.
はい。
We still had some time before lunch, so Julie decided to cook.
今日は何がいいですか？
Let's see. Everything you make is good. I was racking my brain trying to make a suggestion, but Julie beat me to it.
今日は時間もあることですし、ピクニック風にお弁当なんていかがでしょう？
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, but then they won't have it at home. We brought everything we needed at the store. When we're like this, it really feels like we're married. That's why you kept calling her your wife. Not like anymore, though. Well, Yorihime's route is the only one where it was officiated. With Karen, it was like a few years after they officially married, and with Luna and Julie, yeah, the epilogues of their routes kind of end right after the credits. There's not really much of a time skip between the epilogue and the end of the route. Oh, hang on. Yeah, we were husband and wife through and through. My lovely wife had a lovely smile next to me. I gritted my teeth in joy.
お待たせしました。
Okay, yeah, let's go.
はい。
With lunch basket in hand, we headed to Clock Tower Park. Kind of a fucking... really? She had made a lunch like this before, and like that time, it had an obvious weight to it. Being a weekday and still early, the park was empty. Yeah, but, you know... So we got the best spot we got the best spot to be had.
こんなに気持ちのいい芝生があったんですね。
Yeah. I spread out the sheet, and it was already feeling like a picnic. I saw the cute basket my wife had prepared, and thought this was more picnic-esque than could be matched even by the real thing. Julie sorted and spread out. Julie sorted and spread the lunch out neatly.
お腹空きました？
It's still cute. I also forgot to, you know, change the transparency back to normal, but it's fine. But like, there was a lookout that they could have gone to. The view would have been a lot better. You know? Oh, yeah. Considering how much I moved my body. Okay.
私もです。
No, you didn't do that much. Well, the first half you did. The second half, not so much. You were just... You stood there. You were standing there. We giggled together. Recently, I had a reputation among my classmates as the bottomless pit because of my appetite. Let's see. Oh, it's because of your appetite. Yeah, there's another reason they can call you bottomless pit, but it's probably best that they don't know that part. Mr. Comes a lot. What?
いただきます。
Oh yeah.
ゆうたさん、いつも美味しそうに食べてくれるので、作りがいがあります。
Well, it's just so good. Nom nom.
こんなことを言ったら大げさですけど、ゆうたさんの命を支えているという気がして、料理を作るのは好きです。
It's definitely giving him the stamina to please you. Never mind. My life?
食事を取らずに生きてはいけませんから。
I see. Yeah, I guess you're right. It was somewhat related to food, but we had our struggle with staying alive. It now went beyond food, as there was a deeper bond of support between us. It had its own unique form, and I thought that was the essence of being husband and wife. I'm really feeling happy we could be together. I felt the need to tell her my feelings again. Julie nodded in agreement and...
母に言わせると、狙った獲物は逃がさないのが無魔だそうです。
Well, I see. You and your mom are the same there. Except that probably shouldn't. Adrian cheated on Oishi. Okay, don't encourage her to be the same.
だから、これからもずーっと話しませんからね。
Not like you have a choice.
なんだ？
What a cute ending. There it is. Finn. Julie's route finished. But, yeah. That definitely was... That was a pretty good route. Alright, not all things considered, that was a pretty good route. Probably because the conflict and the hate scenes kind of couldn't have... What am I trying to say? As an Aragay, it just makes sense that the conflict of the route ties in to the sex, you know? And also she's a succubus, so of course that also makes sense. But yeah, like I said, not as good as Luna's route, but a solid second place. And that's why she is also a solid second place. Shut up. That's why she is a solid second place on the rankings. Because I love her character too. It kind of, you know, intertwined. But, yes. If you saw... as you know, as I've said multiple times now, if I went by worst to best, Lucy would be next up. But because she's essentially the poster girl, you know, the mascot, literally the character on the icon of the game, and the biggest character on the title screen, I'm gonna have to do Yuna's route first. Well, I don't have to do Yuna's route first, but it makes more sense to do Yuna's route first, you know? Especially because she is also the most plain. She's just a girl, alright? She's not from a different world. She's just childhood friend archetype. But like, you know, there's still a charm there. And I'll bring out that charm, you know? Probably not. But either way, I hope the writers do. But either way, good morning. Thanks for watching, I guess. If you enjoyed it, subscribe would be appreciated. If you want to support me even further, you could always follow me on Patreon. Follow me on Twitch. Subscribe to the Patreon to see the hate scenes and the uncensored bits. But yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. And I will see you guys again in Yuna's route. Bye-bye.